It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good. Let's get DDC in here. What's going on with this thing?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Mr. Bird, how are you?
I'm pretty good. What about yourself?
Oh, if I could just get some computer cooperation, I'd be great.
And I believe Attorney Kirkland is going to zoom in to interview the Zoom, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. Let's get DDC in, and I'll open up the breakout rooms.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, Attorney Kirkland, I'm putting you in breakout room. I'll move you to room 1.
Okay, thank you.
And then, sir, I'm going to move you to room 1 where you will meet with counsel. What's going on here? I'm sorry, I'm going to have to move you to room 2. It's giving me a problem. I've been like a magnet for tech issues the last 3 days. Okay, sir, you're going to see an invitation to a breakout room. Please accept it. The attorney will be waiting for you there. Defense counsel, can we go straight down the list?
We can, Your Honor. We still are working on a couple females, but besides that, we're ready.
All right, thank you. DDC, ready to go down the list?
Yes, ma'am.
And on the wall, are we ready on the walk-ins? Do we have everything we need, officer? Okay, I have the file on Walker up here. Where's Teron Walker? Okay, still being printed. Okay. Okay, and then Ms. Townsend she's being printed too. Okay, very good. All right, at the DDC, what's your name, please?
Alan.
All right, Mr. Allen. You said Allen, right? Mr. Allen. Okay. Case number 240-443-6801. People of the state of Michigan versus Hassan Allen. Counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Bird, Samuel A. Ragman, P23-157 on behalf of the people.
Yes, and good afternoon again, Your Honor, and good afternoon, Mr. Ragnar. Brandon Bird on behalf of Hassan Allen. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Thank you, counsel. Court notes formal reading has been waived in the interest of not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Positions as to bond, please.
Yeah, this incident occurred when the defendant tried to get into a window into an apartment for a girl he used to date. He didn't live there. He doesn't stay there. He's not on the lease. Police, when they came, they did see him at the window. She tried to push him outside the window. And we're going to ask for $25,000 personal bond, but we're also going to ask for a GPS tether with curfew if he's working. And the reason, Your Honor, is that there was no reason for him to be there trying to break into her apartment when she's there. And second of all, she told the police that on February 29th, he punched her in the face. So he's been abusive in the past. So that's why we're asking for the curfew, Your Honor, and the GPS tether.
Thank you. Mr. Byrd.
29-year-old lifelong resident of lifelong resident of Michigan, Your Honor. 4 children, indicates to us that he doesn't have any prior criminal history and none has been presented to us, Your Honor. Not on probation or parole or no pending cases. He is employed, Your Honor, but with his family size, he makes below the 200% poverty guidelines. Any amount of bond is going to be like a remand to him. I do understand any allegation is a serious allegation, but this is a 90-day misdemeanor. He does have somewhere else to stay, Your Honor, and we're just asking, we're not objecting to personal bond, no tether. He has a 3-month-old son who's at the hospital with heart issues. Actually, he's been sleeping at the hospital for the past 3 months to take care of him, and I believe that a GPS tether may interfere with him taking care of his son and showing up to work, as he needs every dollar he can get in order to support his child, Your Honor. So respectfully, we're just asking for no tether.
I mean, thank you. Certainly I appreciate that he's got a child who's in the hospital. The fact remains, he went and tried to break into someone else's home while they were home with their children, knowing that they were inside, which is quite concerning. It becomes more concerning when I hear that she's made an allegation that he has prior to this been physically abusive. So I'm going to give a personal bond in the amount of $25,000. However, he does have to be fitted with the GPS tether before leaving the jail. Curfew will be 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. for the curfew. I'm doing that out of a concern for community safety for the complainant in this case. Next court date is going to be a pre-trial May 1st in front of Judge Bryant. Sir, you are not to go back to that location on Bethune where this is alleged to have occurred. There is to be no contact or attempted contact with the complainant in this case, meaning no verbal contact, no written contact, no contact through third parties or social media. Any attempted contact would be considered a violation of the conditions of the bond. Thank you.
Permission to speak, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Burns.
If there's any way that we can just get a no curfew on that tether. He's already going to have to be fitted with a tether. He does work, and he is sleeping at the hospital at this point. We're just going to ask for at least no curfew on the tether.
No objection.
What I will do, Mr. Word, is I will make an exception for medical appointments in the hospital, but the curfew is going to stay. Where I have allegations of someone trying to go into someone's bedroom window, I find that the nighttime curfew is necessary.
Thank you for hearing me out, Your
Thank you, Honor.
Thank you.
Judge, may I be placed back in a breakout room with Mr. Walton? For some reason, I never made
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Wakanda forever.
All right, court dates, May 1st, Judge Bryant. We're ready for the next person, DDC.
Put back and forth for a second. You're gonna step on the black line, face the camera, full length. Action. Here?
Nope, stand right there.
All right.
Name, please.
John Simpson.
All right, Mr. Simpson, you've got a couple of traffic misdemeanors where you missed your court dates. When you missed court dates, judge assigned to those cases issued warrants. They set bonds. I'm going to set the warrants aside today, give you personal bonds on the tickets. You do have the right to remain silent. You're being recorded. Anything you say could be used against you in the future. You also have the right to have an attorney represent you on the tickets. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you on or before your next court date. These are misdemeanors for which the maximum possible penalty is up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. Number U50806519, alleging October 21st of 2019 at an address on Outer Drive trespassing. Ticket P1198912, alleging May 12, 2021 at Greenview and Trojan, driving with improper license, no insurance, no registration. P1200345, alleging May 17, 2021, 7 Mile in Sunderland, no operator's license, no insurance. On all of these, you have the same court date, same judge, Judge Archer, for pretrial, April the 9th, personal bonds. Calling case number 240-560-8501, people of the state of Michigan versus Devontae Simpson. Counsel.
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Devontae Simpson. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Thank you, counsel. Court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Positions as to bond.
Yeah, people are asking for a $50,000 personal bond, and we're asking for a GPS tether with home arrest. The reason we're asking for the tether and a high bond is the fact that the officers, in trying to lead the defendant to the vehicle, wrestled with the police, got into basically a fight with them. Then he grabbed the officer's vest, and then he hit him scratched him in the face or something, cutting his face, the officers. Took another officer to come over and grab his leg just to have them stop from wrestling, which eventually put him on the hood of the car. So, I mean, if he's going to fight with the police, I'm worried about what's going to happen to the public. And I think that the fact the officer's face was cut and he struggled, they struggled mightily to get him in the handcuffs because he still didn't cooperate. I think that's warranted, Your Honor. Thank you.
Why was Mr. Simpson taken into custody?
Well, it says here came on a street and there were a bunch of people outside of a Blazer and the car, and it smelled high of marijuana, which makes no difference, I guess. They identified standing in the roadway, Mr. Simpson, and they turned the overhead lights on for a traffic stop. That's all I can read is what's right here, Your Honor. Your Honor, I think you're reading the same thing.
On a traffic stop when he was standing in the roadway. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Defense?
29-year-old lifelong resident indicates to us that he doesn't have any prior criminal history, Your Honor, and none has been presented to us. Indicates to us that he's not on probation or parole and doesn't have independent cases. And unfortunately, he's on SSI and unable to afford any bond, Your Honor. He does suffer from seizures. He blanks out sometimes. Respectfully, we can mark his file medical. It'd be greatly appreciated. But hopefully we can and he hasn't received his medication since he's been in jail. I do understand that this does have some assault.
Mr. Berg, I've heard enough. Thank you. Bond is set at $50,000 personal, seeing no danger to the community or flight risk here. DDC, please mark the file medical. Next court dates, March 18th, probable cause conference, March 25th, preliminary examination, both in front of Judge Degree.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What's your name, please?
Oh, my name is Dennis James Bay.
One moment, please. And mixing up mitts. Hold on one second. Mr. Simpson, Mr. Simpson. One moment, please. Madam Clerk? Yes. Like I stuck the mitt in here or something. There it is. Okay. It just wasn't in front. All right. Thank you. Mr. Fay, is that correct? Case number 240-560-9301. People of the state of Michigan versus Dennis Fay. Counsel?
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Dennis Fay. My client waives his right to the formal reading. Was advised his constitutional rights and will stay on mute.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Charge here is CCW. Positions as to bond, please.
People are asking for $10,000 personal bond, Your Honor.
No
Thank you.
objections, Your Honor.
Thank you. Bond is set at $10,000 personal. Mr. Fay, you are not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of your bond. Your next court date is going to be a probable cause conference in front of Judge Robbins, excuse me, March the 14th. After that, preliminary examination is set for March 21st in front of Judge Sabri. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Black line, face the camera forward, put your arms in, bro. Richard Washington.
Okay, Mr. Washington, good afternoon. Calling case number 240-560-9501, people of the state of Michigan versus Richard Washington. Counsel.
Jennifer Douglas for the people,
Wait a minute.
P727.
Hold on. This is not the right. Hold on. All right. Thank you. Counsel, go ahead, please.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Richard Washington. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Positions as to bond, please.
Your Honor, Mr. Washington, the people would have no objection to a $10,000 personal bond. We would just ask for a no contact order. I didn't see any history for Mr. Washington, no pending cases. The two don't live together, Your Honor. We believe that $10,000 personal with bond with no contact order would be sufficient.
No objections, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Washington, your bond is going to be set at $10,000 personal. You're not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of your bond, nor are you to have any contact or attempted contact with Kamisha Crump. Next court date is going to be a pretrial March the 26th in front of Judge Garrett. You do have some traffic misdemeanors where you missed court dates. When you missed your court dates, the judge assigned to those cases issued warrants and they set bonds. We're going to set the warrants aside today and give you personal bonds on the tickets. You do have the right to remain silent. You're being recorded. Anything you say could be used against you in the future. You also have the right to have an attorney represent you on the tickets. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you on or before your next court date. Ticket number P1028705 alleges November 26th of 2019 at Porter and Clark, no license, no insurance. Ticket P1064760 alleges February 10th, 2020, Michigan and 14th, no insurance, no license. P1219398 alleging June 27th, 2021, MLK and Rosa Parks, improper plates, no registration, no insurance. Ticket P1219401, June 27th, 2021, MLK Rosa Parks, license suspended. 727-654, March 26th of 2021, Scotton and Porter, unregistered vehicle, no insurance, license not valid. On all of these, you have the same court date, same judge, Judge Taylor. Pretrial is scheduled for April the 12th. Personal bonds. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on, Black line, face the camera forward.
Good afternoon. Name, please.
Richardson.
Okay. All right, Mr. Richardson, you have a number of traffic misdemeanors where you've missed your court dates. When you missed your court dates, the judges assigned to those cases issued warrants and they set bonds. I'll set the warrants aside today and give you personal bonds on the tickets. You do have the right to remain silent. You're being recorded. Anything you say could be used against you in the future. You also have the right to have an attorney represent you on the tickets. If you can't afford one, one will be provided for you on or before your next court date. These are misdemeanors for which the maximum possible penalty is up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. Ticket 343228 alleging July 17th, 2017, Ewald and Santa Rosa, no operator's license. 15454-015, October 5th, 2015, Exeter and Remington, no operator's license, no insurance. U173-64814, September 9th, 2014, address on Derby, in vacant dwelling without permission. U221-85715, alleging March 30th, 2015, at an address on Derby, again inside without owner's permission. U154-29014, April 7th, 2014, address on San Juan, entering a vacant building without permission. U530-43019, alleging October 15th, 2019, at an address on Turner, Again, this one though, a location where drugs were sold and kept. U665-693-10, alleging July 3rd of 2010 at Linden and Livernois, curfew violation. Z801760, this one alleging without owner's permission on this one. And then I've got Z797426, again, entering a vacant dwelling without permission, attempting to withdraw contents. Okay, on all of these, you got the same court date, same judge, Judge Sherman on April the 11th, personal bonds on all. Now case number 240-560-9501, People of the State of Michigan versus Keon Richardson. Counsel. People on Richardson, please.
I am very sorry, Your Honor. Samuel A. Ragnan for the people.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of Keon Richardson, my client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Charge here is CCW. Positions as to bond.
People are asking for a $10,000 personal bond, Your Honor.
Thank you.
We have no objections, Your Honor. Unfortunately, this is a case where the police seen everything but the gun, it seems like.
All right, thank you. Bond is set at $10,000 personal. Next court date is front of Judge Robbins for probable cause conference, March the 14th. Preliminary examination set for March 21st in front of Judge Giles. Mr. Richardson, you're not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of your bond. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What do I have on Zoom? I don't even have a file.
Already on Zoom too, Your Honor.
That's Mr. Walton.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, DDC, and I'll come right back to Mr. Walton. Who's there at DDC, please? White mask, what's your name?
Jalen Irby.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Irby. Calling case number 240-443-6901, People of the State of Michigan versus Jalen Irby. Counsel?
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of Jalen Irby, my client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Charge here is retail fraud in the 3rd degree. Positions as to bond, please.
Your Honor, it is a retail fraud, so we don't have an objection to a personal. We would have no objection to a $10,000 personal. However, the people would note that Mr. Irby actually has 2 other retail fraud cases for which he is on tether. So this is allegedly occurring while he's on tether. He has the tether on both of those cases. So, Your Honor, at this point, I don't know what more tether he could have. He has a tether with a curfew. We would ask for tether with house arrest, even though it's retail fraud. I don't know what else to ask for, seeing as how he already has a tether on 2 other cases.
All right, thank you. I'm not inclined to do a tether on a house arrest on a retail fraud, not seeing a danger to the community and hearing anything about flight risk. I think that might be just a step too far. Defense counsel.
No objection to the personal bond, Your Honor.
All right, bond is set at $10,000 personal. Mr. Irby, next person might not have an objection to putting you on house arrest. Do not go back to the Dollar General on East Warren. You are not allowed to go there. Your bond is set at $10,000 personal. Next court date, pretrial, May 1st in front of Judge Bryant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to Mr. Walton, calling case number 240-556-3101, People of the State of Michigan versus Antonio Walton. Counsel.
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of Antonio Walton, my client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. This is a narcotics offense. Basically, we've also got a weapons possession. Defendant has presented himself to the court through Zoom as asked. Positions as to bond.
People are asking for $25,000 personal bond, Your Honor.
No objections, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Walton, please identify yourself for the record.
Antonio Walton.
Thank you. Bond is set at $25,000 personal. Next court date is going to be March 18th for probable cause conference, March 25th for preliminary examination, both in front of Judge Jefferson. You are not to purchase or possess any illegal substances during the course of your bond, and you are not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of your bond. Once again, your court dates are March 18th for probable cause conference, March 25th for preliminary examination, both in front of Judge Jefferson. Thank you.
In court, not on.
It's by Zoom, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what was the bond again, Your Honor?
Bond is $25,000 personal.
Thank you.
Is there a time on these court dates? Like, that I need to be there?
I think it's 8:30 a.m., Madam Clerk. Do you know what time Jefferson starts on March 18th? 8:30 a.m.
8. Okay. All right. Okay.
8:30. Okay. Thank you. DDC, we're ready.
So, leave out of here. Leave out of here.
What's your name, please?
Thanks for now.
Okay, Mr. Pennell, you've got some traffic misdemeanors where you missed your court dates. When you miss your court dates, judge assigned to those cases issued warrants. They set fines. I'll set the warrants aside today. Give you personal bonds on the tickets. You do have the right to remain silent. You're being recorded. Anything you say could be used against you in the future. You also have the right to have an attorney represent you on the tickets. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be provided for you on or before your next court date. These are misdemeanors for which the maximum possible penalty is up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. Ticket P1220699 alleges July 7th, 2021. Joanne Burwood driving while license suspended. Ticket P12539 alleges September 23rd of 2021 at Tireman and Epworth, license suspended. Ticket P1438614 alleging March 1st of 2023 at Davison and Broad Street, no license. Again, all personal bonds, pretrial set for April 11th in front of Judge Garrett. Now calling case number 240-556-1501, people of the state of Michigan versus James Pennell. Counsel.
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brenda Bird on behalf of James Pennell. My client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. I am quite familiar with the investigator's report, including the attempted home invasion defendant is accused of, and statements that if complainant ever called the police on him again, a threat that something would happen. Positions as to bond.
Yeah, people are asking for $100,000 cash surety bond in this matter. If he's able to post bond, we're asking for GPS tether with home arrest. He has a number of convictions, Your Honor, and I can certainly go through them. Back on 2/22 of 2001, he pled guilty to delivery of under 50 grams of narcotics. 9/13/02, domestic violence, found guilty. 4/30/03, 2 AWIMs, felony assault. Not guilty on the AWIMs, felony assault, 7 of them. He's found guilty on all of those. 7/24/14, felony weapons, have 4, pled guilty. 7/8/20. Delivery controlled substance, cocaine or heroin, have 4, pled guilty. But coming in at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning, breaking into someone's home to and he said, I'm going to terrorize you. And that's what he wanted to do. I think he is a danger, not only to her, but to anyone else that he comes in contact with in a bad way. So we're asking for the $100,000 cash surety, and we're asking for GPS tether with home arrest. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, defense.
One moment, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. 42-year-old lifelong resident Indicates he has 5 children, none with the complaining witness, Your Honor. Lives with his mother. He was forthcoming that he's on probation in Macomb for a non-assaultive drug possession charge, Your Honor. Unfortunately, he's unemployed, but looking for a job. Can't afford any bond. Any amount of money is going to be like a remand to him, Your Honor. My client indicates he only seen the complainant once after these allegations, and that was at his sister's mother's funeral, in which they were in the same place, had no issues. He understands no contact with the complaining witness, Your Honor. Doesn't want any contact with the complaining witness because he's facing jail time. If he's facing his bond to be revoked and potentially prison time for these allegations, in which that's what they are at this moment, allegations. I do understand they are assaultive in nature, but he looks forward to his day in court. And respectfully, we're going to ask this court potentially for a personal bond. It was over 3 months ago. We haven't heard of any new allegations against him, against the complaining witness at this moment, Your Honor. So we do see that he can have no contact with the complaining witness and go an extended period of time without contacting him. And so we're going to ask for a personal bond in this matter, Your Honor. If the court's not inclined to a personal bond, then a personal bond potentially with a tether. We're not requesting the tether, but if that's what makes the court comfortable, then that's what we're asking for, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Ragland. Please refresh my memory as to the prior convictions. I've heard you say some that don't appear to have been used to enhance. What are the prior convictions that you're showing, please?
I have on 2/22/2001 a drug conviction under 50 grams. On 9/13/02, I have a domestic violence. He was found guilty. On 4/30/03, I had him charged with I think 2 AWIMs, and then he was found, but that was dismissed. Felony assault, found guilty, and I have 7 counts found guilty of. And
date
also
of those, please. What's the date on the felonious? The date on the felonious assault convictions, please.
It is 4/30/03, but I also have on 7/24/14 felony weapons conviction and a HAB-4 conviction. He pled guilty, and then 7/8/20 guilty to delivery of controlled substance and pled guilty to HAB-4 again.
All right, thank you. The defendant's history of assaultive convictions coupled with the allegations here, a threat to basically terrorize someone for the rest of their life, according to the investigator's report, you know, that coupled with an alleged attempt to break in the home is causing me extreme concern about safety of the community at large, given the prior convictions and this complainant in particular. Bond is set for that reason at $500,000 cash, no surety, GPS tether with home confinement if he's able to make that bond. Bond review will be March 11th in front of Judge McConico, March 14th for probable cause conference, March 20th for preliminary examination, the latter two in front of Judge King. There is to be no contact or attempted contact with the complainant, meaning no verbal contact, no written contact, no contact with third parties or social media. Any attempted contact would be considered a violation of the conditions of the bond. And you are not to go, sir, back to the address on Burwood Street where this is alleged to have occurred. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we give him the redetermination date, Your Honor?
I did, March 11th in front of McConico.
Got you. Thank you.
You guys have Xavier Curtis, DDC?
I was told that he was released at the hospital, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you on the female side.
See you on the female side.
Okay, come on up. Okay. Come on and step up. Let's take Ms. Townsend first, please.
I believe we still have to interview Ms. Townsend. If you can give me one moment, Your Honor.
She has retained counsel.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay. All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you?
Well.
Good. All right. I've got, ma'am, what's your name?
Beverly Townsend.
Thank you. Calling case number 150-448-3201, People of the State of Michigan versus Beverly Townsend. Counsel.
Jennifer Douglas.
Your Honor, Chester Jeanette. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ms. Douglas.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Chesterton SP 83295, representing Mrs. Beverly Townsend, who's present to my right. Ms. Townsend, will you please state your name for the record?
Beverly Townsend.
Good afternoon. All right, counsel, are we waiving formal reading and standing your client mute?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court notes formal reading has been waived in interest and not guilty plea on your client's behalf. There is a $2,000 cash surety caveat in this case for failure to appear at a review hearing on July the 14th of 2016. Were you aware of that?
No, Your Honor. From the record that my client was aware of, she thought she had a delayed sentence. She had worked out a payment arrangement through unemployment and was making payments through them. So when the matter had, and when she didn't show up for that hearing, she had no idea she had a warrant for her arrest. Once she found out that there could be a possibility of a warrant, she retained me. I came down here yesterday, got everything set up to walk her in. So.
Okay, thank you. It looks like it's a misdemeanor at this point that she pled to. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I do.
On 7/14/2015.
Thank you. So I do have the ability to change her bond. Okay, so I can address the cash surety bond. Very good. People have a position as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The people don't have an objection to this being a personal bond. This is an older case. It's post-conviction. I didn't see any other cases for Ms. Townsend. So we have no objection to this being made into a personal.
All right, thank you, counsel. I'm assuming you have no objection to that?
No objection at all, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Bond will be set then at $2,000 personal. The next court date is going to be a review hearing once again, May the 1st in front of Judge Bryant. May 1st, Judge Bryant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. What about Mr. Walker? Where's Mr. Walker? Do you have an attorney with you, sir? Very good. Isn't that Mr. Walker right there?
Yeah, but I think Attorney Kirkland is supposed to.
Ah, okay.
Right? I don't know if she's coming in here or not.
Do you know if Ms. Kirkland is coming in to represent Mr. Walker?
I'll be in there right now, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. All right, we're with you on the female side, and we'll call Mr. Walker's case. Come on up, Mr. Walker. Ma'am, hold on just one moment. I'll be right with you. Stay right there. Calling case number 200-453-5201. People of the state of Michigan versus Teron Walker. Is that you, sir? Yes. All right, thank you. Counsel, we've got Mr. Ragnan or Ms.
Me. Jennifer Douglas for the people, Your Honor.
Brandon Bird on behalf of Teron Walker. My client waived his right to formal reading, was advised of constitutional rights.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived in interest and not guilty plea on Mr. Walker's behalf. Ms. Douglas, this is a violation of Marijuana Taxation and Regulation Act. Position is to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. People have no objection to a $1,000 personal bond. We don't have any information to indicate a danger to the public or a flight risk.
Thank you.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Bond will be set at $1,000 personal. Next court date is going to be a pretrial on May the 1st in front of Judge Bryant. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Walker. All right, ma'am. What's your name, please?
Monisha Franklin.
Hey, Ms. Franklin, you got a traffic misdemeanor where you missed your court date. When you missed your court date, the judge assigned to the case, issued a warrant and set a bond. I'll set the warrant aside today, give you personal bond on the ticket. You do have the right to remain silent. You're being recorded. Anything you say could be used against you in the future. You also have the right to have an attorney represent you on the ticket. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be provided for you on or before your next court date. These are misdemeanors for which the maximum possible penalty is up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. Ticket P1090061 alleges June 10th of 2020 at Gratiot and Seneca that you drove without a license. Next court date is a pretrial, April the 8th, on that in front of Judge Williams. Now calling case number 240-443-6501. People of the state of Michigan versus Monisha Franklin. Counsel.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Monisha Franklin. My client waives her right to the formal reading, was advised to constitutional rights and will stand mute.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Charge here is misdemeanor assault and battery alleged to have occurred on March the 4th. Positions as to bond, please.
Your Honor, the people have no objection to a $25,000 personal bond. We would ask for an order of no assaultive contact with anyone at Detroit Medical Center, employee or otherwise.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, no objection.
Thank you. Bond is set at $25,000 personal. Ma'am, you are not to have any assaultive contact with anyone at the Detroit Medical Center. Your next court date is going to be pre-trial, May 1st, in front of Judge Bryant. Thank you. You're all done, ma'am. Change this, please. Removing complainant name to no assaultive contact with anyone at BNC Medical Center, please. What's your name, please?
Yay, Shepherd.
Okay. Good afternoon. Calling case number 240-560-9401. People of the state of Michigan versus Yasa Shepherd. Counsel.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of Yasa Shepherd. My client waives her right to the formal reading, was advised her constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
Thank you, counsel. Court notes formal reading has been waived and enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. I've got a charge of FA, felony firearm, and a second offense, domestic violence. Positions as to bond, please.
Your Honor, we're asking for a bond of $35,000 cash as surety with tether. We're not asking for restrictions on the tether, just for no contact for the following reasons. Your Honor, this is an assaultive set of allegations. Our concern is that the motivation for the alleged pulling out of a firearm is an argument. I know the investigator's report says it was about a computer tower. I did email defense counsel an incident report from an officer who actually responded. That report indicates it was actually an argument because CPS had been called about the children. I don't know any more about what that alleged argument is about, but our concern is that in that report that we provided to defense counsel, it stated that the complaining witness said that Ms. Shepherd had threatened to shoot him, and that police did see the video that he had, and that she did appear to be pointing a gun at him and threatened to shoot him. Your Honor, there were minor children in the home, although it's not clear exactly where they were in the home at the time this happened. Considering that there is a prior DV conviction, although from 2018, I don't know who the complaining witness is on that. That's from a different jurisdiction. We do have some concern about the safety of this complaining witness. As a result, that's why we're asking for the $35,000 cash assured with tether and no contact.
Thank you, Mr. Bird.
You give me one moment, Your Honor. I got this incident report when we started the docket, and if you could just give me one moment.
Mr. Bird, I don't have it, and so I'm not considering it. It's not in the investigator's report. I don't have it. I don't have anything to consider.
Thank you, Your Honor. 28-year-old lifelong resident indicates she has 4 children. Indicates that she's not on probation or parole, no pending cases. Currently, she's not working. Unfortunately, she's well below the 200% poverty guidelines. Any amount of bond is going to be like a remand to my client at this point. I do understand these are assaultive allegations, Your Honor, but she does have an alternative place to stay. Understands no contact with the complaining witness, Your Honor. He actually is going to stay in a whole nother city, far away from the complaining witness, and we respectfully ask this court for a personal bond. If the court's not inclined to a personal bond, then a personal bond with a GPS tether, which we're not asking for, but personal bond. Yeah.
Thank you. What strikes me about the investigator's report here is that it states that the complainant pulled out a cell phone and began recording. We had one of these cases earlier today where then there's no follow-up in the investigator's report that I would expect to see, as in we viewed it and we can see her holding the gun. I don't have that. I have just allegations at this point. Given the prior DV, though, I do have some concerns, and so I am going to order a GPS tether in this case to ensure that the parties stay away from each other. But this will be a personal bond for that reason, because there's not enough there in the investigator's report in terms of evidence that to tilt me from there being anything but just mere allegations at this time. $50,000 personal GPS tether. I'm not putting a curfew on it. I just want to make sure she doesn't go back to the address where this is alleged to have occurred. So she cannot go back there to the address on Lilac Street. All right, 50,000 personal GPS tether. Next court date, March 14th for probable cause conference, March 19th for preliminary examination. Ma'am, you cannot purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of your bond, and you are not to have any contact or attempted contact in any way with the complainant in any form, no text messaging, social media, etc. March 14th and March 19th in front of Judge King. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ma'am, what's your name, please?
Tamika Crawford.
All right, good afternoon. You've got a traffic misdemeanor where you missed a court date. When you missed a court date, the judge signed those cases, issued warrants. They set bonds on it, set the warrants aside today, and give you personal bonds on the tickets. You do have the right to remain silent. You're being recorded. Anything you say could be used against you in the future. You also have the right to have an attorney represent you on the tickets. If you can't afford one, one will be provided for you on or before your next court date. These are misdemeanors for which the maximum possible penalty is up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. Ticket number P1429540 alleges February 3rd of 2023 at Greenfield and Linden. Unregistered vehicle, no insurance, invalid license. Next court date on these, pre-trial, April 11th, in front of Judge Jones. Now calling case number 230-598-5101. People of the state of Michigan versus Tamika Crawford, counsel.
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
And yes, Your Honor, Brendan Bird on behalf of Tamika Crawford, my client, waives her right to the formal reading, was advised her constitutional rights, and will stay on mute.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived and enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Charge here is felon in possession. Positions, Mr. Bond.
I'm
sorry, there is a felonious assault and felony firearm as well with a HAB-4. Go ahead with your arguments, please.
Yes, this incident occurred back on August 28, 2022, when the complainant, who used to date the defendant, went over to her place. She called her from outside, and the defendant came out then with her gun and fired 2 shots at her. In fact, the defendant had told her in a previous argument when they're on the cell phone before she went over there that she was going to mess up her car, I believe. That's not the exact words, but I can't quite find them. But that was the intent. So she shot 2 times at the complainant with a gun in the open area. Didn't hit her car, but shoot at somebody at all. Number one is, I think, a very serious and dangerous matter to the public and also to the victim. So we're asking for $75,000 cash, surety, GPS tether, home arrest. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you, this is alleged to have occurred August of 2022. Are you aware of any subsequent interaction between the parties that I should be aware of?
He does have a record, though, Your Honor. I'm not sure if you have that or not, but.
Understood. I do.
All right.
I do have it. It was used to enhance. Thank you.
Thank you.
And her last assault of conviction was in 2002, roughly 22 years ago, Your Honor, according to the complaint. But the complaining witness is a threat to the community. But my client was at home in this matter, Your Honor. She was at home. I don't see any corroborating evidence where the police found any gun shells, Your Honor. But I do see where the complaining witness even admitted herself that she came over to the location to destroy the defendant's car. As stated earlier, we don't have any indication that there's any more allegations since 2022, roughly a year and a half ago when this happened, Your Honor. And my client's 42 years old. She does have a record. habitual for, but as stated, 22 years ago since her last assaultive allegation. She is employed, makes well below the 200% poverty guidelines. I do understand these are assaultive allegations, but respectfully on this matter, we're going to ask for a personal bond, and we're going to ask for a personal bond
with no tether. Okay, thank you. Given the age of the allegations here, approximately 2 years ago, the lack of any other interaction between the parties that the court is aware of, and the lack of corroborating evidence, at least outlined in the investigator's report, I do not find the charges before me to be indicative of a danger to the community or to this particular complainant. In terms of dangerousness overall and the defendant's priors, the last assaultive felony conviction is from 2002. I do not find that to be indicative of a present danger to the community. And seeing no flight risk, I will issue a personal bond here. $50,000 personal. Ma'am, you are not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of this bond, and you are not to have or attempt any contact with the complainant in this case, meaning no verbal contact, no written contact, no contact with third parties or social media. Any attempted contact would be considered a violation of the conditions of the bond. Next court dates, March 14th for probable cause conference, March 19th for preliminary examination, both in front of Judge King. Thank you. Have a good night, DC. Good night, everyone.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Mr. Bird, thank you. Ladies in the courtroom, thank you. Any policemen there, thank you.
All right, good night. Good night, good night.
Have a good